In a world that's just so full of noise and a million different choices, how do you figure out your true direction? Well, today we're going to talk about a tool that's way more powerful than any map you could buy, and that's your own inner compass. So, what is this inner compass, really? Think of it as your personal guide. It's that gut feeling, that internal sense of direction that helps you slice right through all the static when the world just feels way too loud and chaotic. I mean, have you ever felt like you're just navigating life completely mapless? We've all been there, standing at some huge crossroads with all these different paths stretching out in front of you, and you have absolutely no clue which one is yours. It's such a common feeling, and honestly, it can be really confusing. Okay, so that brings us to our first section. Are you feeling lost? We're calling this adrift in a sea of choices. And listen, if this resonates with you, you are so not alone. It's a totally natural response to just being, well, adrift in this ocean of endless options. Just think about it for a second. You've got career advice blasting at you from social media, you've got the expectations of your family, your friends. All of this external noise can get so loud that it completely drowns out the one voice that actually knows the way, and that's your own. And this feeling, it shows up in some really specific ways, right? Maybe you feel totally paralyzed by all the choices you have, or you're just not sure what your next step should be. Or maybe you feel, I don't know, disconnected, almost like you're living someone else's life. These are all just signals, basically red flags that your inner compass is being ignored. But here's the good news, and it's really good news. Let's move into our second section, discovering your inner compass. And the subtitle is key here, the tool you already possess. See, you already have everything you need to find your way. It's just a matter of discovering it, or for some of us, rediscovering it. So what is this thing exactly? To put it simply, it's your internal guidance system. It's not some treasure you have to go out and find. It's already inside you. It's this powerful combination of your core values, your intuition, and your deepest sense of purpose. And let's be super clear about this. This isn't some kind of mystical, woo-woo force. No, it's a really practical tool. Think of it like a framework you can use every single day to make decisions that actually line up with who you are and where you really want to go. All right, so that brings us to section 3, how to read it. This is like the user manual for your internal guide. Because, okay, it's great that you have this tool, but how do you actually use it? Let's break it down. Okay, so the easiest way to get a handle on this is to picture a classic compass in your mind. The kind with 4 cardinal directions. In this model, we're talking about each of those directions points to a core, fundamental part of you. Here's the breakdown. Pointing north, you've got your purpose. That's your why, right? The reason you get out of bed in the morning. Then, pointing south are your values. These are your non-negotiables, the things you stand for. Over to the east, that's your intuition. That gut feeling that you can't always put into words. And finally, to the west is your experience. This is all the wisdom you've collected from every single lesson, the good and the bad. When you put these 4 points together, that's your personal map. Okay, let's move on to section 4, charting your course, or as we're calling it, from insight to action. Because look, understanding these 4 directions is a fantastic first step, but now comes the most important part, actually using them to chart your course. This is where all that self-awareness turns into real action. And this is such a crucial point. This is not just a navel-gazing self-discovery exercise. The entire reason for understanding your inner compass is so you can actively use it to navigate your life, the big decisions, the small ones, all of it. And the process itself is actually pretty simple. It's just 3 steps. First, pause. Before you make a big decision, just stop. Don't react. Create some space to think. Step 2, consult. Check in with your compass. Ask yourself the real questions. Does this line up with my purpose, my values? What's my gut telling me? What has my past experience taught me? And then, step 3, proceed. You move forward, but this time with a real sense of intention and clarity, because you know you're aligned with yourself. And that brings us to our final section. The journey never ends. This is a lifelong voyage, folks. It's so important to remember that this is not a one-time fix. Learning to use your inner compass, well, that's a lifelong practice. I mean, life is always going to throw new challenges and new horizons at you, right? So the goal isn't to get to some perfect final destination where everything is figured out.
The real skill is learning how to navigate the changing currents with confidence, trusting that incredible tool you have right inside you.
There's a quote that just says it perfectly. The goal isn't arriving at a destination, but learning to trust the journey. And that's it right there. When you really learn to trust your own ability to navigate, the journey itself, that becomes the reward. So, I want to leave you with a question to think about. Sometime today, just take a quiet moment for yourself. Check in with those 4 directions we talked about: your purpose, your values, your intuition, and your experience. And just ask yourself, right now, in this moment, where is my inner compass pointing me?